Was here at Royal College, Palakkad. This has been the third consecutive time Dr. Jiju and his team organizing such a program wherein you people or rather your seniors were very well oriented and gone back and still doing their PGs. The first batch of the orientation program is yet to come out. So what impact does this orientation program do in their PG program is yet to be out. But when you are invited the third consecutive time, that's a bit of curiosity to know what these programs or what the faculty have been doing for your people. How far that impact has started to create some changes in your curriculum or your career, that is still something awaited. So moving on to this program, when I hear about this orientation program, so when you hear about an orientation program, probably such a clipping of the movie Hitler comes to my mind. Of how or what is the need for somebody to be oriented. Probably this is the way people have been treated the first day in the department of orienting you people to this extent. This normally happens when you try to orient the present day MBS graduates or BDS graduates. Finally, we are somewhat successful in orienting that statue at least. So, why should a specialist in the medical field, especially dentistry, need to be oriented? This is not a small thing. How far a person who has joined for an engineering or a law, or not for law, how far a person who has joined for an engineering or other economic science and all should be oriented, and how far a medical person need to be oriented. These two things have to be seen in two different ways, especially in dentistry, because dentistry is a specialty that can be individually established and practiced in a community. So a right orientation, if it's not given to these people who can practice in their own ways, that makes a lot of disaster in the community as well. Dentistry is a medical specialty that has been uncontrollably and disproportionately invaded by engineers and of course commerce. So if you are not very well oriented, these two people can definitely misguide you to have their kind of practice rather than a practice what the patient demands or you people wish to do. The reason for you landing in BDS after your +2 are totally different. Each one of you sitting here would have had a single intention of going in for MBBS course. You were all totally unsuccessful in achieving it. That was the only reason why you people joined for BDS. Is there any other takers out there? No, I don't think so. Oh, you wanted to join for BDS. Oh, okay. There are always a rare specialty with few rare people among the crowd. But majority people wanted to join for MBBS and they happened to land up in this particular course as well. But when it comes to opting a post-graduation in BDS, after your, in MDS, after your BDS time probably has got three reasons what I understand, probably these three people excuse me, what I understand joining for MDS is either you didn't know anything, to practice after your BDS time. You went and started your practice under somebody, and probably this was the last day that fellow threw you out because you don't know anything about that science. I asked this question to many of the students who complete their BDS and planning to join for MDS. Which subject would you like to join for post-graduation? Wanted. Ortho. Why ortho? Okay, Prof. Why Prof? because I didn't know anything about Prof. So when you don't know anything about a subject, you wanted to join for a post-graduation in that subject. This is what the majority people say. I don't know anything about ortho, so I wanted to join for ortho. It's not that I was interested in that subject and I wanted to do something else. It was always like, I didn't know anything about it, so I wanted to go for it. Or probably this was one of the motto. It was like, as you get to know, the base salary of a dentist is this much per day, where for a general physician only that much. An economical side, the commercial side of dentistry is very bright, and could be one reason why you wanted to specialize in it. And to avoid many questions from family, this would have been the prime reason why many of you people are sitting over here. Something like, one nightmare that you have to face, because right from the LKG days you've been getting up in the morning, you were all wearing some uniform and going for some class or something, or your student life was very happily moving on right from the LKG time, and one day after your convocation, which is going to happen this month, that from that day, or as I think so you'll be knowing it, from the day you complete your convocation, the next day you're sleeping at home. Don't think your parents are going to react the same. You have to get up of your own, and you don't have a place to go. So ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ നടന്നാൽ മതിയോ, പണിയൊന്നും ഇല്ലേ, നിന്റെ കൂടെ നടന്നവരെല്ലാവരും ഇപ്പോ പലതും ചോദിക്കാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ആളുകൾ നീ ഇങ്ങനെ കിടക്കണം എന്താണ്, ഞങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ പ്രായമായി. See, all these questions start bombarding you, and you somehow wanted to go and join some MBS course and finish off these questions. So that could be the reason. The orientation program is to make each one of you understand something else, not to answer those questions. It's not that you didn't have anywhere else to go, that you are joined for an MBS. What you should be doing once you are here, that is something. Why are you here? You need to understand this, other than knowing all the subject in detail before you fall into a trouble of MBS. At a younger ages, you wanted to become a cartoon hero. If you ask you at the age of probably school time, in the early school time, what you wanted to become? You wanted to become a driver, you wanted to become a policeman, you wanted to become a maid, you wanted to become a mother, you wanted to become a father, you wanted to become Spider-Man, you wanted to become Iron Man. They were all your dreams, but destiny saved you. Destiny saved you. You wanted to become something so badly, but destiny didn't allow you. Second thing, you wanted to become a school teacher when you were in a primary school. Again, destiny saved you. In college, you wanted to be an MBBS person, other than the three people out there, but destiny ditched you. You opted to be a dentist. Of course, destiny had no other choice other than staying with you. Now you wanted to be a master in this particular degree. Again, destiny is supporting you. That's the only reason why you people are here. Destiny was very much with you. And see, this destiny wanted you to be an MDS. 2024, you had to join for MDS in this subject. This was your destiny, and the only reason why you people are here. You have no other choice other than being here at this particular point of time. There was no other choice. Destiny is very well supporting you. The other things was all destiny's problem. Now, what kind of an MDS person you are going to be in 2027? That is your choice. This destiny is not going to do any support to you. It has brought you here, it has brought to this particular place. Now another 3 years time, you have to come out as an MDS person. Now, what kind of an MDS person? Definitely that it is your choice. That's where such orientation programs comes into play. For this, at least you know about it, a short study can be conducted now. A short study of why should I do a PG? Because my topic itself is a short study topic. So let's go in that same tempo. So it's like formulate this into a protocol. If you want to have a short study on why should I do a PG, start from a genuine question leading to the study, ending with you having joined for PG. Now, into something like a study, what you're going to decide right now, which will be conducted probably later, and the result is going to be awaited. So this is something like a synopsis preparation, am I right? A synopsis, a protocol is being prepared and given to the university, submitted to the university. Then you're going to wait for the permission from them, then you're going to do it. So the result of that, all those kind of other things to follow will be at the disposal of the program. Now, prevailing hypothesis. This is what you first do. When you're given a topic, or rather when you're given a question, in normal research side, if you formulate a protocol for why are you people here, it always starts with the present prevailing hypothesis of selecting a PG. Now, I said few things in the beginning, 3 things why you people are here. Now, there has to be a background for this. We'll come into each of that. Then there has to be need for doing it. 3 things we already said. It was funny joke, right? But still, there is some sense in it, I believe so. Then, you need to have a review of literature. When you're planning to join for a post-graduation, what is the review of literature? You will ask the other people who have already finished it. Again, that's a review of literature. You don't need to have a book as such in front, because there are people who are available out there as your seniors. So you ask them. Then limitations. Limitations should be something like whatever that person has said, or whatever other people are there in the industry so far. What about the other people who are doing MDS, completed MDS, practicing MDS successfully? There is a lacune. There is a space. There is some limitation for what is happening today, where you can probably fit yourself. That makes that rationally. Why did I join here? There is a rationale, a yukti. There is a yukti. It's just because BDS has got high scope. All the people who have completed BDS, all the people who have completed MDS is doing well. So I'll also join this. So there has to be a rationale. It's a very, very important point to be noticed. Unless there is a rationale in doing any short study or major thesis or library recitation, please don't do it. Please don't do it. It will become a burden to you itself. Because a rationale is such an important thing. Then you have to have an aim. Aim for doing anything. Aim for doing anything. When you consider MDS, aim of your MDS program is MDS. You want to complete and finish Master of Dental Surgery. That's your aim. What would be the objective for that? Whatever is being prescribed to you as curriculum, you have to complete it successfully. Successfully complete the curriculum as prescribed by the university and the college or the department. Then, successfully complete the examination conducted by the university. Once you have done these 2 things, clearly you will get an MDS degree. So, aim is nothing that you are going to do. Aim is something that you are going to achieve. Trivandrum is your aim. Prepare for your travel, board the right train. What will happen? You will reach Trivandrum. Trivandrum is not going to come to Muhachpura. Muhachpura is not going to go to Trivandrum. But these 2 things, if you do right, you will reach there. So clear aim and a clear objective. What should be done to reach that aim? That is the objective. And whatever you do as the expansion of an objective becomes the methodology. How to prepare to go to Trivandrum? All those things, what you have to do in the net and ticket and all those things has to be done. Then board the train at the right time has to be done. If those 2 things are done, the objective is clear. Once the objective is clear, you will reach Trivandrum. That is definitely there. So that is the aim and objective of this. Now, what was the research question? Why you plan to join for MDS? Will this course help me to prolong the bachelor life? One smart question. Will I have more demand in market being a PG? Will this course offer me anything I could learn in, everything I could not learn in DDS? Will I get a higher paid job? Will I become famous like my college teachers and textbook figures in MDS? See, let it be anything very funny. I know whatever I have described here are all funny. You've got better and best research question to ask yourself. But I believe you people are all being HOs for myself. So one of these questions should be there with you as well. So your hypothesis said MDS will help me in all these. That was the hypothesis. You can call it, this is the existing hypothesis. That's what generally people say. This boy join the Kanyam, you can call it a picture. This part of the Indian so whatever it is, that could be the hypothesis. Now, null hypothesis claim all these to be will not. You will not, if this is not going to help you to prolong your bachelor, this is what null hypothesis is going to say. This is very simple. Existing thing says no. But you people are so interested to going for the first category. So null hypothesis need to be nullified. So whatever null hypothesis say about your hypothesis, that null hypothesis has to be nullified. That has to be wiped out to establish yours. Got it? So each and every factors which says no has to be wiped off so that your hypothesis will be established. So that is what the null hypothesis does to you. Yeah. Now what is the background of the study? The details of the research question and hypothesis has to be explained here. Whatever your question was has to be explained here as introduction or your background. This is the background by which you are here. So that is your background. Then you have a need. Very, very important thing when you design a short study or a major study or library study. There has to be a need or an rationally is yukti. Yukti is, since that is not there, I need to be fit here. Or that is not there which I am good at, so I can be fit into that position. Need is totally different. There has to be a need. There has to be a need of your study conclusion here, right here. Which is not exactly or only for you. It has to be for the entire community which is going to definitely receive it. Review of literature. Review of literature is something like 5 to 6 people who are in the background you have gone and key articles you have selected. So that means there are key people who can help you out. This is a must. No research is called as a research unless you have a proper review of literature. Otherwise it should be a search, right? It is a research. So it is a research means there is somebody who has already done similar study before you. That guidance is very, very, very important. You want to make a chicken curry at home, you want to make something at home, you go into a review of literature which is available on the YouTube. Right? So that is same thing. Review of literature is nothing but the similar people or the similar interested people who have done the same thing prior to you. You have to take a guidance from them. Otherwise what happens is probably what you are trying to do may be things which thousands of people would have already done and failed. You are wasting your time. So review of literature. And once that review of literature is being formulated, well studied, then you get a rational aim. If the entire thing ends up in this particular point of review of literature, the thesis which you would have planned will end up in library dissertation. Shall I repeat it? If your review of literature is so satisfactory for you to understand whatever your research question was, and if you are so satisfied with the answer that is available in the review of literature, your original study is not at all a requirement here. That becomes library dissertation. No original study is required here. So when is that original study requirement comes? When there is a limitation, lacunae, shortcomings in the review of literature. That person has done a study in this part of America, but nobody has done it in India. Okay, that study has been done in India, but nothing has been done in Muatupura. Rationale for doing this study in Muatupura is simple. It has been done. It has already been done around the world. It is done in the nation, but it is not done in this place. So the aim, obtain a free government college seat in any MBA subject. I am not bothered. I am not bothered about any subject, but I need a free seat. It should have been an MBA seat in a subject under a particular guide in a particular department. It should have been that. But generally the aim goes something else, and the objective is a free seat. I cannot pay for it. I am very much bothered about that expenditure involved, and I need an ample stipend to take care of myself, my family, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, everybody. So the objective is this. It should have been something else. See, prepare well for entrance examination. So you get the highest rank in the examination, then apply in the right institute and the right department. If you do these three things clearly, won't you reach that aim? Yeah, you join for that. So objective is exactly the way. Aim is where it leads to. And now, what happens? Now methodology. Join Davangere or whatever it is. Before it was Pala, now it is Davangere for MDS. Study systematic way to achieve highest rank. find out the best place to join wisely. If you do all these things, you will be clearly reaching your aim. Now, yeah, this is what I said as aim, and that is what the objective is. Aim is that kind of step ladder, aim will be the topmost floor. And the first step and the second steps are your objective. You take the first step, you will reach half the way. You take the second one, you will reach almost there. The third one is your aim. So this clarity for aim and objective has to be there when you design a short study or a long study or a library dissertation or anything. So aim has to be clearly defined. That will be there on top. Then point to objectives. Aim is the top step of those two objectives. 3 years later or somewhere in your career, definitely all these things have to be filled. Your observations, result, discussion, conclusion and answer to the research question. See, observation, this is very important. When you say an observation, this is not need or this necessarily need not be the result. For example, you have a football match. Aim is win. Aim is win. By somehow, aim is win. Win the match. That is the aim. Am I right? Yeah, that is the aim. What would be the objectives? Make it very clear. Score maximum goal. 1. Allow minimum goals. Am I right? Only 2 objectives. Don't try to elaborate methodology into your objective. Don't try to put your methodology, piece of methodologies into your only 2 things. Score maximum, allow less to happen. Only 2 things. So what should be done to score maximum goals? That comes in that methodology. What should be done to prevent maximum goals from falling in? That is another methodology. So only 2 objectives here. And aim is only single, and it is very much single, that is just to make the aim, that is to win. Am I right? And finally you see the scoreboard as 1-0. Somebody has won. That person won. Am I right? So with the score of 1-0 or 3-2 or 0-1, whatever it is, one team has won. Am I right? Yeah, that need not be the exact result when a statistician analyzes it. 0 and 1, probably one team would have won, but statistician says no. That's not a very statistically relevant result. Am I right? So observation is 0 goal and 1 goal. But what is the difference? Difference is so less that the p-value goes high. The chances of this team winning over the other one in the next match is high. Am I right? Yeah, they were all equally playing good. So statistician says, I will read it here. I will go to here. But definitely, it is a clear-cut fact that one team has won. Right, so result is the way you analyze it. A statistician analyzes and gives you. And when the statistician says, yes, that team has won, check the observation, it will be 0-10. That means that team is definitely something worth to win the match, am I right? So statistician's way of analyzing things comes in the result. Observation are just figures. I did this study and I got a result of this thing. Okay, then how much is the statistical significance? Statistical significance denotes that how strong that win is. Observation says what has happened out there. So clinically significant and statistically significant. Then you go in for a discussion, very, very important thing. Whoever you have chosen to be your key article should be brought here. Come, sit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All have done similar studies in the past. Now let's discuss. This person has done such a study with this number of samples, says that this is the thing. I have done this thing within my limitation and I have found it to be this. Let's discuss. This discussion is important, am I right? Because so many people have done similar studies in the past. So many people are expected to do it in the future as well. So a discussion is very, very, very important here. Don't make or jump into a conclusion, whatever you have concluded in your study as the ultimate in it. So discussion, thereafter a conclusion. Then come to the research question. My study was a nonsense. But in the discussion, I found the other people have discussed it in a better way. I join with them and I come to an answer. Am I right? Okay. So the expected outcome of the study would be you would have got had it during your MDS time. If you're smart enough, then you would have definitely prevented it. But you had to. You realize market is overflooded with MDS people. See the kind of expected outcome. MDS was a higher level continuation of it. There was no job vacancy anywhere. I think that you people would have started to feel it by now. The master degree will not make you famous. There are a lot of troubles and hard work to come follow it. Null hypothesis that stated these outcomes cannot be achieved come out correct. Am I right? Whatever the null hypothesis said, no, whatever you are trying to do, achieve with your MDS. Null hypothesis said in the beginning, what did null hypothesis say? You won't achieve it. Null hypothesis wins here. Whatever you proposed, whatever you had hypothesized has gone wrong. What would have been the outcome of the study if the research question was, how can I apply my skill of aesthetic, surgical, logical, artistic and creative into this science and emerge as a specialist in prosthodontics, periodontics, orthodontics or whatever it is. If this was the question, probably we had a better hypothesis and the null hypothesis would have stood with you and failed. You would have achieved this. See, where did the study lose its relevance? What was wrong in selecting that study? See here, it started with an irrelevant research question. You wanted to know all those nonsense before you did your MDS. The need was not justified. What was the need? Somehow to prolong your bachelorhood life. That is not a need. That should not have been the need. You did not have a genuine existing hypothesis. Then, we had a strong null hypothesis to oppose. The aim was misdirected, so that result is the same. You failed in that study. If you are oriented well at that time of deciding the study, the need rational aim of the course would have been much of use to you. The study conclusion would have been a reference for others. Whatever your study conclusion is, whatever you are trying to conclude out of your study should become a reference for another person. Study would have contributed to the growth of the science as well. You doing a study in 2024 should be of some use bridging 2023 to 2025. Am I right? You start doing some study or you decide some study which was so good at 1950s which your guide is so much interested in because his guide was so much interested in that topic which is because that person's guide was so much interested in it. So you are doing a study presently in 2024 which was so much interested to some guide of your guide who was somebody's guide who belongs to somebody. That teacher in 1950s or 1850s is who is guiding you right now. This should not happen. This should be a relevant one. So, all discoveries were products of searching for one thing, that is truth. We are in search of something called truth. Truth alone should be the guideline. Even if truth were not acceptable to people who preach existing hypothesis, truth is what you are trying to search. Truth is what you are trying to search out of researches. You are doing searches again and again on a single topic to know what exactly is truth. And truth just goes in front. See, Socrates, he was killed. He was poisoned to death for a simple reason that he was searching the truth. He proposed something, nobody liked it. What did they do to him? Killed him. What happened to Galileo? What happened to probably Copernicus or Bruno? Everybody, they were all brutally killed for representing their observations. If they had said, okay, sorry sir, I was wrong, they would have been still living at that point of time. They chosen to be killed for something to prevail. That's true. Even there are people around us still living around here, like that person who said what's going to be the truth about Kerala. He is still alive for some reason which we are going to discuss now. These two people were killed for certain belief. The person is still alive, but his concepts are being shattered and brutally manipulated. Most of worthy discoveries we have heard, what in medical science, they were all accidental, you know that? Yeah, they were but answers to simple research questions for sure. This person had a great fall of apple on his head. You heard about it, right? And what happened to him? What happened to him? He had some pain on his head. Definitely he would have gone to a hospital. but this person had a question, a research question. Why did that hair fall on my head? Why did it come down? He had a question to ask himself, and the answer was, it was gravity. So a question led to an answer. He did a short study for himself and found out an answer, and the answer was gravity. Several things have fallen on your head and my head. Have you discovered anything? Yeah, this is the problem. And probably this person had gone with his wife for a vacation of 2 weeks to Sweden. And when he came back, he didn't have probably otherwise had the habit of washing it properly and keeping it in the sink. But this person had forgotten to wash his petri dish, came back and saw something happening in his petri dish, something else growing then other than what he had intended to. Right? He had a question to himself, and the answer was antibiotics. You know that person. So the answer was antibiotic. But the fact is that I left my dining plates in the kitchen sink for so many days together or weeks together, but nothing had happened to it other than getting scolding from my wife or my parents. Other than that, nothing has happened. I washed it cleanly and kept it back in the almirah. So when this Swedish professor followed up a titanium chamber placed in the long bone of a rabbit, what happened? He had a question to himself. Whatever the question is, the answer was dental implant. But my problem is, why did this fellow keep that titanium chamber in that long bone of that rabbit? I was behind it. That fellow had a research question other than what I had. And that fellow discovered dental implant. I am still searching, why the hell did he place such a titanium chamber in the long bone of a rabbit? That too of a rabbit. So all these like X-rays, anesthesia, pacemakers, Botox, they all have a simple thing in common. What was that? Accidental discoveries. They had discovered something. But if they had discovered something and just told this to the world, they would have said this, we have got done. But that was not the place where they ended it up. These accidental discoveries became famous study conclusion for a simple reason. They are all presented in a very systematic way. Okay, fine, you had an accidental discovery of X-ray. But it's not that you are going to believe it and sit at home. You have to present it to somebody in a very systematic way. Yeah, they had a genuine way of making their alternative hypothesis. That is what is prevailing today. Now I've got an alternative to the prevailing thing. Existing thing says this, but I've got something else to say. Comes the null hypothesis. Null hypothesis will definitely state no, what you're saying is wrong. Your fight is with the null hypothesis to establish your alternative hypothesis. Right? So all these things what you do in your entire curriculum in MDS, it has to be formulated in that way so that another person can accept it and understand it. A critical issue in dental research was just one thing earlier. That was a lack of a genuine research question. This was the only problem what research field was facing once. But now another problem has joined in. That is availability of enough and more answers on internet. This is the biggest trouble we are facing today. Easy answers to anything. We don't have the courage to take the trouble to do the research and find out why is it so. Research is an inborn attitude. Training can only customize it. See, a non-researcher eating food, he is looking at probably a computer or a mobile phone and eating food. No research attitude here. See this fellow? He's a conscious researcher experiencing eating. The only difference between probably a habit-loving person or a person who do things by habit and a person who consciously do it is the same as research and reading something. So that person is doing a research over food, this person is enjoying it. Human beings are born as researchers. Please understand this. Not sure about it, then see this. This fellow, just born, an immediately born baby looks at something and trying to figure out whether this person itself is my father or is this mother, what to do out there, is this fellow who was disturbing my mother throughout the last 10 months, and all those kind of questions. That research is already there in the child's eyes. See, it progresses this. What is happening in that room? what is there inside that? See, that research attitude was very much there, but probably ended up with this particular classroom where the teacher said A for apple. Heard? Did you hear that? Yeah, A for apple. Don't say anything beyond this. There ended what? There ended what? There ended everything what is still carrying here. What do people are carrying? A for apple. Why can't it be of astronaut? Then you will lose marks. Am I right? You write apple, I will give you 10 marks. You write anything A beyond it, you will get 0. So there ended up everything. The uniform, the common way of learning, everything common. You have to have a common format of question paper. You have to write this particular answer in it. I will give you this much marks. There is the question of research here. No choice, no research, nothing. This is an attitude. It's a way of understanding things. This is the way of understanding. Somebody says this is that. Sitting in this auditorium, somebody says it is night outside. Night outside. It is day outside. It is day outside. What difference does it make? When somebody says it's night outside, no, I want to experience it. You go and experience, you will lose the class. You lose the class, you will lose marks. Research is the highest expression in an open-minded inquiry for definitely the truth. Any profession has got 4 kinds of people involved in it. Just try to analyze these 4 kinds of people. A customer in a cloth industry, a local shop, a shopping complex which sells you the branded works. Then there is another people behind it who are the designers and the makers of the garments who supplies the other 2 people. Here in food, there is a maker, a researcher, and definitely a person who makes food. Rest are all definitely the marketing side of it and the consumers. Sports, you have all these people watching it. We have got some country people playing like us. We have got professional players who are reaping out all the glory of it. But there are few officials, controllers, makers, BCCA, ICC, all those people behind it who made the law of this particular cricket. Then in our profession, these customers and spectators are all our patients, so keep them aside. What about the local shops and players? They are the ordinary dental practitioners around us who doesn't have much of a research exposure or anything. They are just waiting for anything to appear in the TV. They play the same way in the local ground. And you have got the people like you who wanted to be one step ahead, the owners of a bigger thing, the celebrities of this particular field. That's the reason why you people have opted to become MDs. You wanted to go one step higher than the country players and become somebody like Rohit Sharma or somebody. Majority of you are going to join them tomorrow. But the real scope lies behind somewhere else who decide this game. There could be a fantastic perio professor. There could be a fantastic orthodontic HOD. But we all are waiting for something to come from above, the command to come from above. Who gives us the command to do this? Yes, they are the researchers, the real academicians and the entrepreneurs in the industry. Unless they give us the material to do, we cannot do anything. So they decide the rules how Tendulkar should play. They design the playgrounds. They are the people who make us think and do things. So in dentistry, they are the people who design the entire thing for us. Now the topic being short research, you have to be focusing at these things, not the ones what you see as celebrities doing around us. Advanced dental researchers today are more focused at gadgets and these kind of equipments. Am I right? So much fascinated with all these things. But dentists are seldom part of these researches. The need for a dentist to handle these things are definitely going to be questioned very soon. Robots are taking over dentistry for a simple reason that lesser medical researches are happening in the dental medical side. More researches are happening in the engineering side of dentistry. You have to be very careful when you select a short study which might misguide you in this way. Curriculum should be an objective of mere technological training. It is totally training. It's all oriented towards technological training nowadays. Training technologies creates consumers. We are becoming consumers of engineers in dental field for only one reason: we are not interested in the research aspect of it. Research training should create authors, scientists, entrepreneurs and authorities in the industry, not consumers. So the purpose of doing research, purpose of doing various short studies in your MBS curriculum is to understand this fact. MBS research training is an approach in the academic and clinical practice in a researcher's way. Research has its impact in both academic and clinical side of dentistry. Please listen to this. A teacher without a researcher's attitude and who has not updated himself is a criminal. And the people who practice, a clinician who doesn't follow research trends in this field is a cheat. The other one is a criminal who creates a lot of criminals around. Second person is a cheat because he is not treating the patient the right way. These are the tools with which you study this MBS curriculum to become in a researcher's manner. All these things which is being explained here, they bring back the curiosity what you had in your childhood. So all these things what you see as research training, they all bring into this particular curiosity once again. Now that particular MBS curriculum or that research-based curriculum will make you understand how does these people make discoveries, how did my textbook fellows or the people, the academicians, how did they do things. That is what is being learned when you are doing such a study in a curriculum based upon research. So what is that? How to select yours? Only thing probably you need to know is you should have enough doubts. You should have enough doubts. Dr. Jiju was telling me in the morning, it's a very interactive crowd who has got a lot of doubts. Yesterday's session went on till late night, all because there was an interactive. Yes, we welcome it. Yes, it's the doubt. It's the doubt. It's the doubt that has to be explained here. From that doubt, you go and ask a teacher, sir, I got a patient who has got a lesion in the oral cavity. That is leukoplakia. Is it leukoplakia or leukoplakia? Fine, finish. There ends your quest to know the exact lesion. You have named it right. Probably you have named it the way your teacher wanted it. That's all. So that's not the way it should be. What happens after research question is decided by the researcher. What happened to Isaac Newton, or rather this person, after that apple fell on his head? He would have definitely gone and asked this teacher, why did that thing fall on my head? What would have been the teacher's answer? Something. Because of that particular thing, this has happened. And answer was existing then also. Was he satisfied with it? If he was satisfied with it, that discovery of gravity was somewhere else. So you need to have a doubt. You need to have an exact way how to formulate it. You go and ask a teacher, is it something that is prevailing? No. I am not satisfied with it. Then start the research. Probably the way you search will end up in the same answer. It is okay. But you have done a research before you accepted it. So all those things is all leading to a good doubt, a right formulated research question, and it goes on and on like that. Next time you do a clinical case or anything of this sort, any doubt pop up in your mind, that is to be made a proper research question. What is this fellow standing over there and doing on the podium? Ask yourself. You will get an answer. You will get an answer which will definitely state that whatever he is doing on the stage is only for one person is good, that is for himself. I am not benefiting anything out of it. Let it be really. Our country has maximum factories that creates a lot of researches. Around 7,000 MBS dissertations and short researches. Indian contribution to global research is just 1.21%. And to Asia it is just 2%. That means there are too many crowding in the place where you are meeting. Nobody to give or nobody to feed it. So universally accepted people are this, scientists. The problem with this, you know only these two people. You ask your grandparents to name two scientists, these two people. You ask your father, can you name two scientists, these two people. You ask yourself, can you name two scientists, these two people. You ask your children to name two scientists, these two people. So we have not been exposed to much of these things. Scientists and researchers are textbook figures for me. I totally, every PG guide here have done so much researches, but definitely I think today I have not met an Indian dental scientist I don't even know how a nice Indian scientist will look like. I was taught not to follow Indian textbooks. I still have not seen an Indian Streptococcus mutans. Have you people seen it? I have not seen an Indian Streptococcus mutans in any textbook. I have not seen Indian P. ginger virus. There is a separate section for Indian textbooks in the library, right? Yeah, all those things. Still have not worked on a worthy Indian leather material also. It has to all come from abroad because our researches are all substandard. Yeah. This is not the general thing what will happen with the research work. What you do? Very rarely few of them are reborn. Reborn as what? You did a thesis work, you do a short research work, happily to conclude it and keep it in the ANNOOR and go. A few are being reborn as publication. So when it is publication, it becomes a reference to another research topic. It moves on. From 2023, you have taken it in 2024, give it to somebody in 2025. Don't bring them back to 1980s. Your studies should be continued by other researchers. A good research work done today should link to yesterday's work, to tomorrow's similar work. Your research work should be published, become a link in the chain of growth of the science. Surely, when somebody says, I want to marry somebody from Neptune or Jupiter, have a honeymoon in Uranus, and the first child schooling has to be done in Neptune, don't we laugh over it? Won't you laugh over this thing? Then, 100 years ago, there were people who laughed at somebody who said, I want to marry somebody from New Zealand and was settled in Canada. They used to laugh at this person who dreamt it. But still, a few centuries back, when somebody has said, I want to marry from Tamil Nadu or I wanted to marry from Andhra and settle in New Delhi, they would have laughed at you, right? So definitely, whatever we said about Jupiter, Neptune and all those things, that should be the aim. So not to beware of the apples that fall on your head. A teacher might throw many things at your face. Don't beware of it, but be aware of it. Be aware of any apple that fell on your head. That is the way you should be living that thing. So let each one of you be remembered in a researcher's life here, which each one of you be remembered as a reference for your next generation. It's like a beacon, shining, standing alone uphill. Another definition was said in the beginning. Burning itself for those who are lost. Yeah, we people are burning right here. For the lost people in the sea, yet dare to search their direction. Whoever is searching for it, if your choice is to drown, sorry, we're not with you. If your choice is to search for the place to escape and find out something, we are there with you. So a big thanks to Dr. Jiju and his team and Dr. Joby, Dr. Jospol, all those people for consistently and constantly keeping this tempo at its heights and having such a program for the third time, small thing, consistency and constantly being doing such a wonderful, organizing such a wonderful program is definitely something to be appreciated. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And to all the students out there who would have had something out of this study, thank you. If you have read anything wrong, it is my mistake. If I said anything right, it's out of the experience I've gained from my teachers and my students.